Hello, I am Simulated Erk and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator episode 12. And today we're going for a rather large flight. This in effect will be basically a repeat of episode 10, but I do have a couple of surprises in mind. Episode 10 was the long flight in relative terms that myself and co-pilot Otto did between Sydney and Melbourne in the Airbus A320. But with the audio issues, you may not have got through the whole episode, or you may not have been able to appreciate what's going on. I've worked on the audio issues, so it will be a lot easier to hear me, and things will sound a lot better compared to how they sounded in that episode. My initial intention was simply to operate the radio, and that was pretty much it. But I did work the autopilot for a lot of the crews. But I most definitely gave the takeoff and landing to Otto, and Otto actually did a good job on the landing at Melbourne. Which surprised me because so far he hadn't done a good job with the general aviation flights that I got him to land for me, and also on the 747-800. He didn't do quite as good a job on that either, but maybe Otto likes to be an Airbus pilot, so we will let him have the reins. I'm not up for that yet in terms of my level of experience. Where I'm at is basically the plane in front of you, the Cessna Skyhawk. Now, I wasn't going to do this episode just yet. I was going to leave it until episode 20, but for reasons that will become quickly apparent when the sim loads. I was doing a bit of searching on the internet, and MSFS addons.org is going to be a very interesting place for me to be for a while. I've been at this flight simming thing on Microsoft Flight Simulator for 10 days in total, even though it's been a few weeks now because I'm releasing one episode a week. In real time, this is like day 10 of me owning Microsoft Flight Simulator. So I've managed to fit in a lot with up to episode 12, plus other things that I've been recording across Simulated Erk at the same time. Now this might take a little bit longer to load, because I've done some things that will become quickly apparent very shortly that may indeed extend the loading times. I certainly hope not. The A320neo began operation in 2014 and has since become the fastest selling aircraft ever, according to the information at the bottom of the screen, which I realise at some points you can see some of the information that's on the various parts of the screen, and then there's other parts of the information where you can't. So we are just about ready to take off from Sydney Airport.
369er at runway 16 right, ready for takeoff departure to the north.
So we're at Sydney International Airport, and
Velocity 369er cleared for takeoff, runway 16 right, departure to the north approved.
And here we go. We have a Virgin Australia.
16 right, velocity 369er.
We have a Virgin Australia. Oh, it has got my call sign on the back. Oh, I wasn't sure that was going to work, but it has. Oh, Echo Romeo Kilo, you're back. So, we're ready to fly. I am going to give Otto the ship. So, Otto, you've got the ship. I'm going to handle the ATC. we've been given permission to take off. So this is a Virgin Australia flight between Sydney and Brisbane. And Otto has the ship. So, okay, he's raised the landing gear. Awesome. So I don't have to do that.
Velocity tree 69er. Continue for north departure. I will contact you next when you leave my airspace.
Okay, so we'll just acknowledge that instruction from ATC from Sydney Tower.
Sydney Tower velocity 369er, continue for north departure.
So we'll just adjust my my camera view. So we'll see how Otto goes with the flight. He was a bit how you're doing on climbing and cruising. There was some overspeed, so I took control of the aircraft, basically put the autopilot on.
Velocity tree 69er. You are leaving my airspace. Frequency change approved.
Sydney Tower velocity 369er, frequency change.
Okay, I don't know what we want to tune to approach. We're going to
Approach velocity 369er is type Airbus A20 at 5 miles southeast of Sydney, 2,900 feet. Request clearance to transition Charlie airspace.
Velocity tree 69er approach. Squawk 0302.
Squawk 0302 velocity 369er.
So what I'm going to do is
Velocity tree 69er radar contact 5 miles east of Sydney, 3,900 feet. Cleared through the Charlie airspace. Maintained on navigation.
Cleared through the Charlie airspace velocity 369er.
I just need to remember where the where I had to put the squawk code in. How high are we? We're still below 10,000 feet, so I'll just make sure that the seatbelt sign is on. Oh no, you didn't turn the seatbelt sign on. Okay, that's our radio. So we haven't been asked to put any headings in, etc. yet. Otto is flying the aircraft well. So much to remember.
Approach velocity Velocity 369er 10 miles north of Sydney. Request IFR to Brisbane. Ready to copy.
Let's.
Velocity 369er is cleared to Brisbane Airport as filed. Squawk 0302.
Velocity 369er cleared to Brisbane Airport as filed. Squawk 0302.
Velocity 369er reads back correct. Radar contact 7,700 feet. Altimeter 29er.9er 2 turn right heading 005. Resume on navigation climb and maintain 17,000 feet.
Okay, so
Turn right heading 005. Resume on navigation climb and maintain 17,000 feet. Velocity 369er.
Velocity 369er contact Melbourne Centre on 133.8.
133.8 for Velocity 369er.
okay, 17,000 feet. Oops. So we've done that. Now we needed to do our heading track. That's in up. We don't need our waypoint. Airspeed, heading mode. Our heading was 005.
Melbourne Centre Velocity 369er is at 11,900 feet, climbing 17,000 feet.
Velocity 369er Melbourne Centre continue as planned. Altimeter 29er.9er2.
Melbourne Centre Velocity 369er requesting vector to next waypoint.
Velocity 369er turn right heading 005. Resume on navigation.
Turn right heading 005. Proceed on course Velocity 369er.
Okay, so we're above 10,000 feet now, so we can turn off the seatbelt signs. So our passengers will be happy about that. So we'll put the autopilot on. So far, so good. So we're queuing at just over 340 knots indicated airspeed, and we're still climbing. We're about 16,500 feet.
velocity 369er, contact Brisbane Center on 125.7.
Going to 125.7 velocity 369er.
Otto, you've done your overspeed thing again.
Brisbane Center velocity 369er 17,000 feet.
Velocity 369er, Brisbane Center, continuous planned. Altimeter 29.902.
Okay, we'll bring the throttles back. That's coming back down. I've got the autopilot on. I've got Otto have control. So we're going okay. I have control of the ship. Let's have a look outside now. We've got our... So here is our Virgin Australia A320. Rather happy that they... that I was able to keep the rego. So if you go, I'll leave a note in the description, but if you go to MSFS addons.org, so Microsoft Flight Simulator addons.org in other words, there's a massive liveries pack that you can download for the default aircraft, including the A320, including the 747, and a lot of the GA planes as well. So I thought, why not do a trip between Sydney and Brisbane on a Virgin Australia plane? There's lots of different airlines around the world that have been featured, and even if, let's say, our airspeed's rather low. What do we want about? Okay, 285 knots it says we should be doing at the moment. So hopefully our speed should start to pick up. I've just put that into the autopilot.
Velocity 369er, you are 1,000 feet below your assigned altitude. Climb and maintain 17,000 feet, altimeter 29.902.
Climb and maintain 17,000 feet, velocity 369er.
Okay, So we want to decrease that slightly. And it's very... Okay, so our... Hang on. Why are we going down, not up? Okay, let's give Otto control. Otto, you have the ship.
Velocity 369er, please expedite your climb to 17,000 feet.
We're working on it. So we'll go outside and we'll have a look. Ah, beautiful shot. So Otto now is managing our altitude, which is going up to 17,000 feet. So let's see what he does. Why don't we request a cruising altitude increase by 8,000 feet.
Brisbane Center velocity 369er. Request flight level 250.
Velocity 369er, climb and maintain flight level 250.
Climb
Okay.
and maintain flight level 250, velocity 369er.
Okay, so he's going up there.
Velocity 369er, contact Brisbane Center on 130.1.
130.1 for velocity 369er. Brisbane Center velocity 369er is climbing through flight level 190 for flight level 250.
Velocity 369er, Brisbane Center, continue as planned.
Okay, so they're happy with our progress. Now I wonder, maybe not, but each of the and that's not a bad shot either, just quietly. Hang on, we'll just zoom out just a hang on, we'll zoom out just a tad. Yeah, there we go. So that's cool. Let's have a look on the map and see how we're travelling. So we've passed over Williamtown, Yankee Whiskey Lima Mike, that we have featured on a few episodes. So maybe if I zoom in more, we might get some of the other waypoints. Now we're going more inland, so we'll pass to the left-hand side of places like Port Macquarie and Coffs Harbour and the like. So we asked for 250. So we're almost at our climbing altitude. Can we see? Hang on. Can we see Otto and I in the cockpit? Yes, you can. There we are. There's a shot. Now, I was doing some reading. I think I'm going to have to do some more reading. But there's a couple of different ways to do replays. Now, I don't think my landings are probably at a standard yet that they need to be replayed. But what you can do, you can be in the cockpit the whole time. And then what you can do, you can set there's a couple of different versions of these replay programs. So what you can do, you can basically record as you're going along, and then you can basically watch the replay back. Say you're flying this way the whole time. It records what you would be looking like at different angles from the exterior, and then you can replay it. Somebody like me could edit it in post. So hypothetically, what I could do, as I said, I'm going to have to do some more reading before I do it. So what I could effectively do, I could have picture in picture. And so on one little bit, I can have like the outside of the aircraft, and then otherwise I can also have like this view as well. Oh no, we're approaching overspeed territory, Otto. Hey, Otto, I think we're going a bit fast, my friend.
Overspeed. 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 Overspeed.
I'm going to take
Overspeed.
Otto. I have the ship.
Overspeed. Overspeed.
Autopilot on.
Overspeed.
Whoops, not that high. It's very picky, but we've nominated a speed. So the autopilot's determined that at the altitude that we're going, we don't necessarily need to go at over 300 knots. So ATC seem fairly happy with how we're going. Alright, Otto, you have the ship.
Velocity 369er, contact Brisbane Center on 120.55.
120.55 for velocity 369er. Brisbane Center velocity 369er is at flight level 245, climbing flight level 250.
Velocity 369er, Brisbane Center, continue as planned.
Alright, good. Rightio. Oh yeah, that's a shot too. How good does it look, seriously? And just the amount of detail that's in that, it's fantastic. And this is the base model, or the default A320 that's in Microsoft Flight Simulator with a new skin.
contact Brisbane Center on 127.2.
127.2 for velocity 369er. Brisbane Center velocity 369er, flight level 250.
Velocity tree, 69er Brisbane Center. Continue as planned.
Cool, we don't need anything else at this point. Beautiful. Oh, there's so many buttons and switches and knobs and dials and... Oh, yeah.
Overspeed. 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 Overspeed.
Again, Otto?
Speed. Overspeed. 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 Overspeed.
Otto, have the ship.
Overspeed. Overspeed. Overspeed.
Alright. We've set up the autopilot again and the auto throttle. So we're maintaining about 285 knots, which is certainly no, we're in overspeed territory. We're right on our approved altitude. So we're still just under 200 nautical miles away from Brisbane, so no need to think about descending just yet. We'll go around that way. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Now, just some interesting things about Virgin Australia while we're talking. It started a service in August 2000 as Virgin Blue, part of the Virgin Group, with their headquarters in Brisbane. Now, one of the reasons why they decided to call themselves Virgin Blue rather than Virgin Australia as it is known now is because they wanted an Australian feel to it. So, like, if you call someone who's really short in Australia, you might call them Stretch. Or if someone's really large, you might call them Tiny, something like that. So they had a competition and they thought, oh, well, we'll call it Virgin Blue. And the interesting thing about Virgin Blue at the time was all their planes were actually red. So their call signs are Velocity. So in 2000 and so from 2000 to 2011 they were known as Virgin Blue. Then in 2011 they became Virgin Australia. Now in April 2020 went into voluntary administration because of or partly because of the certain global pandemic. They started with 2 Boeing 737-400 aircraft in August 2000, initially operating 7 return flights a day between Brisbane and Sydney. And so that was able to, they started as a low-cost carrier, and then Ansett Australia failed in September 2001. And so in the end, they became Australia's number 2 airline under Qantas. And so initially They weren't part, and I can remember actually when they came into being, they said to start with, we're not going to do anything like frequent flyer programs, business class, airport lounges, code share alliances, all of that sort of stuff. But as they grew up, they started code sharing. They started their frequent flyer program, Velocity. I was actually at one stage when I was doing a lot of travelling, I was platinum with Virgin. And they even flew overseas. Now before they were known as Virgin Australia, the international section, primarily over to the US.
Velocity tree, 69er, contact Brisbane Center on 122.6.
122.6 for velocity tree 69er. Brisbane Center velocity tree 69er, flight level 250.
Velocity tree, 69er, Brisbane Center, continue as planned.
So they started flying between Sydney and LA in 2009. It was actually in 2009 that I first flew to America. The first time I actually flew to America in 2009 was on Qantas because I wanted to fly on the A380. And then when I went in 2013, 2014, that was with, as it was then, Virgin Australia. But when they were launching their flights to the US from Australia, they called their international arm V-Australia, which then became later on down the track Virgin Australia for everything. They also flew over to New Zealand and also over to some of the Pacific Islands as well. So just not Australian aircraft. So before everything went pear-shaped, so start of 2020, they had quite a few code share agreements. All Nippon Airways Japan, Air Canada, Air Italia, Beijing Capital Airlines, Delta Airlines are a joint venture partner with Delta Airlines, Etihad, Hawaiian, Hong Kong Airlines, Singapore Airlines, South African Airways, Virgin Atlantic, amongst others. So this Airbus A320 isn't necessarily relevant for Virgin because they only fly Boeing 737s. So at the moment, they've got 59 Boeing 737s, 2 737-700s, and 57 737-800s. So they've got 59 aircraft currently. And they've got 25 Boeing 737 MAX 10s on order, which are due to be delivered from 2023. They also extended into some regional areas as well. Before everything went pear-shaped, and they decided to rationalise their fleet and somewhat standardise their fleet, and also it sort of helped with the the reduction of services, and no longer flying to the US, etc. They flew ATR 72s that were retired in 2020. They had 8 Airbus A330s that were retired in 2020. Some of the earlier models of the 73 retired in 2003, 2004. The Boeing 777-300ERs, 5 of them for the long-haul route to the US, retired in 2020.
Velocity tree, 69er, contact Brisbane Center on 120.3.
Going to 120.3, velocity tree 69er. Brisbane Center, velocity tree 69er, flight level 250.
Velocity tree, 69er, Brisbane Center, continuous land.
Cool. And they also used to run some E-jets as well, so Embraer jets as well, that they retired in between 2012 and 2018. So some interesting facts there. If I remember, I'll put a link on that on the show notes so you can read some of the history of Virgin Australia / Virgin Blues / V Australia. So they are still